This morning, the case is very much wrapping up here, but Prince Harry's lawyers were dealt a bit of a blow by the judge this morning, and that is because last minute they tried to submit further evidence which has recently come to light, either late last night or this morning, and it relates to a letter sent to the judge by one of the journalists who wrote one of the articles in which is being tested in this case, where Prince Harry alleges unlawful information activity took place in order to write this article. And now David Sherborne, who is Prince Harry's lawyer, says this letter contains direct evidence in relation to the particular origin of the information of which the article has been complained about by Prince Harry. It relates to voice note interception, allegedly carried out post-2006 and related to the Duke of Sussex. Now, the judge asked him, why is this being brought to evidence so late? When you wrapped up your evidence last week, there has to be an end point. Now, David Sherborne, in response to that, said the reason being is because it is very relevant. It directly relates to questions that your lordships needs to determine. In other words, it could help the judge to decide whether or not Prince Harry is a victim of unlawful information activity. Now, the judge asked him to clarify, are you just wanting to submit the letter, or are you wanting to bring this particular journalist forward as a witness at this late stage? Now, David Sherborne said it's just the letter that he wants to submit to the judge, and the judge in response says that this is an extremely optimistic application. There has to be a limit on when evidence can be submitted. We're on the last day of closing arguments, and the judge put it to David Sherborne, what happens if another letter is submitted to you on Monday, for example? Now, Andrew Green, KC, who's representing Mirror Group newspapers, he agreed with the judge and said that evidence has been brought too late. And he also says that that what's contained in the letter does not have an element of truth to it. Now, David Sherborne asked the judge to read the letter before weighing up whether or not it can be used as evidence for open justice. Now, Andrew Green also said, who is the KC representing Mirror Group newspapers, that this is an attempt to get evidence through the back door. And he also said to the judge, once you've read that letter, you cannot unread it. Now, David Sherborne said the judge is experienced enough to be able to read something on principle before weighing up whether or not it can be used in evidence. Well, the judge made his decision, and he said, I'm not going to entertain this any further. It's a letter to the court. There's an issue about privilege. It's wrong in principle. It wouldn't be fair on the defendant not to be able to question the journalist on its contents. This has been submitted 10 days after your evidence closed. I cannot entertain this at this late stage. I will not read the letter, and I will not admit it as evidence. But what's going on in court right now is Andrew Green, KC, representing Mirror Group newspapers, is going through his closing arguments in this case. This afternoon, David Sherborne, representing Prince Harry, and the other high-profile claimants will have his chance to put forward his final closing arguments before the trial wraps up here this afternoon, and then the judge is expected to make his final ruling at a later date.